Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So in this one, what we're going to do in John Doe's case, since he's subscribed to the yearly plan, we want to disable this button right here and basically check the status of his subscription and disable the button right here. So they don't have to sign up to that plan again because they already signed up. Now there's a couple of changes I need to make to my plans table in the database. All right, so if we look at Kesha, all right, so let's go to checking subscription status. All right, now they've changed it from version 7 to 8. Now in this one, they subscribe to check the product, okay? So they're checking for Stripe's product identifier, okay? I haven't saved that information in the database. The reason for that is, let's go up again. Let's go to 7. Let me show you. All right, obviously that's the older version. Let me just go check the status again. I just want to show you why I'm doing it, because in the older version of Stripe, we didn't need to. I'm basically doing as I would have done it. All right, so basically it will be based on checking the Stripe price ID. All right, so that's the one that I saved in the database. Okay, so when we check the subscription plan, it will check for the Stripe price ID. That's why I saved the ID. So basically what I have to do now is I have to update basically the model of our product. Okay, so to add basically the product ID and the price ID. All right, so let's quickly do that and see you now. All right, so basically in our Stripe model right here, as you can see, this ID was the one that I could have used in the Laravel 7, but I'm not going to use that anymore. So we need to add two ones right here. So we need to add the product ID, and I'm going to call this one the price ID, like this. Right, so this is the two tables that I'm going to add. Right, so I'm just going to add the methods for them as well. As you can see, the Stripe name. So I will change this to public function to add the Stripe product ID. Okay, and that will basically return this product. Let me just. So we add these two methods, so Stripe product ID and a Stripe price ID, that will return those right there. Right, so the next thing that we need to change, all right, so we add that to our fillable, then we add the methods in our model. The next thing is obviously the plans migration, so let's quickly just do that as well. So this one will be price ID, and this one product ID, like that. Let me just move this up. Right, so we're just adding that right there, and we're changing the price ID to basically be the product, the price in the product. Okay, like that. Right, the next thing is our PlansTableSeeder. All right, so let's just copy this one down. So we obviously have to go and get the product ID from Stripe. So we're going to get that in a second. Let's just do this quickly. Right, price underscore, change this one to be the product, like this. All right, so let me just fix this. All right, so if we're in Stripe, okay, in your account, you will see your two plans. All right, I'm going to click on the monthly one first. You will see the prod with a number right there. That's the ID that we're going to copy. All right, so let's copy that. We're going to do the same for the yearly as well. Right, and then we paste, this is the monthly one, so let's paste it in there. Okay, the next one is our yearly one. All right, so now basically I've copied them in there. All right, so we got them right there. So the next thing that we need to do in our payment controller, when we actually create the subscription, all right, just make sure you change the plan, because it was like this, right? Like this, like the Stripe ID. Just make sure you add it to be the Stripe price ID, like that. Okay, so that's the only change you need to make right there. Okay, so then the rest we'll leave as is. Right, so let's just quickly close this off. Then we need to obviously migrate our database fresh. So open up the terminal, PHP artisan migrate fresh, and seed the database. Okay, Right, the next thing we need to do is just to make sure our queue worker is running. So PHP artisan queue work. I'll just make sure it runs there. I'm just going to open a new terminal. Okay, let's close that off. All right, now what I want to do in this case, now we got that all set up. Okay, now what I want to do now is I want to create, let's just go to the membership view. So resources, views, pages, membership index. So this is basically the view for all the plans. Okay, right here. Now what I want to do is I want to create my own ad syntax for like subscribe and things like that. Okay, so that we can pass in the relevant parameters. So for that, I'm going to use the blade, or you could have done, if you don't want to use that, you could have used Laravel helpers, right? So, and create your own helpers in here. So new folder in your app, and you could have called it helpers, and you've done it like that. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own blade syntax, add signs, okay, in order for me just to check my application and stuff. All right, but you will understand a little bit more once I start creating them. Okay, so let's create our own service provider for our blade service provider. If you don't want to do that, which is completely fine, you will see under providers, you will have your app service provider right here. And in your boot method, you can add everything that I'm going to do in that provider. You can add them in here. All right. So let's get started. Just close off this one. Open up our terminal, the new one, and I'm going to make a new provider. So PHP artisan make provider. All right. And I'm going to call this one blade service provider. Like this. Wow. All right, so press enter. All right, so now we got our blade service provider right there. So we can close off the terminal. Let's go there. So under app providers, you will see we got a new provider right here. All right, so out of the box, you created your provider, but it's not recognized by the application yet. You need to register your provider. So let's do that quickly. So we go to app. So basically config file and under app right here. All right, then you press there. All right, then you will see you've got your providers right here. Okay, so this is obviously the frameworks providers. Okay, and here is our own providers. We're going to register our one right here at the bottom. So app providers, and then we're going to go for the blade service provider class like this. Right, so now our blade service provider is recognized now. Right, so let's, in the boot method, we're going to do a couple of things right here. But I want to show you in the documentation where what I'm going to do right now is coming from. So basically what we do is we're going to check if the authenticated user is subscribed to whatever plan. All right, so that's the first one. The second one that I'm going to do is that we're going to check if the user is subscribed to a plan. And we're going to pass in basically the first one, what is the plan, and the product and the plan in that product. Okay, so let's do it like that. Right, so obviously if you have multiple, you can do it like that. Right, so let's quickly go and create this in our code editor. All right, so the first one, we're just going to do blade, and then we're going to bring if. All right, now the first part right here, we need, this is basically the name of the add syntax. Okay, so let me just put it up here. So add whatever. So this is, let's say, subscribe like this. All right, then this part right here, that's the part, this right there. Okay, so I'm going to call mine subscribed. All right, so to be the same as the method we're going to check. So blade, if the user is subscribed, okay, then we're going to write a function. Then we're going to pass a user parameter in this one. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to return to check basically if the user is is subscribed like this to what plan, the monthly plan. Okay, or if the user subscribed to our yearly plan, like this. Right, so then we save that. I'm just going to remove this. Okay, so you must understand that this part right here, there is basically the name of the add syntax. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite of this. So we're going to do a blade if. So if basically to check if they're not subscribed. So I want to add that as well. So not subscribed. Okay, so I'm just going to do a function. Now we're going to pass in the user. And this, just add my, like that. And basically what we're going to return is we're going to check if they're not user subscribed to our monthly. Let me just copy this actually. I'm going to speed it up a bit. This. Right, let's just add that right there. So we got our user. What's wrong? Okay, we need to like that. Right, so I forgot my comma right there. So basically what this will do is we'll check if the user is not subscribed. So this is basically add not subscribe and end not subscribe. Okay, but we're going to get to that very soon. Right, so this is the one where we're going to check if the person is subscribed to actually the product. Okay, so let's do. What we're going to do is we're going to do a blade if. So this is the next one. I'm just going to repeat it again. So this is the name of it. So subscribed to product. Like this. Okay. Subscribe to product. Let me just go to a function. We need to pass a couple of parameters. We need to pass in the user. Okay. Then we're going to pass the product ID. But I'm just going to call it ID just for simplicity's sake. And the next one is the name, like this. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do in here, we're just going to return user subscribed to product, and then we're going to pass in basically the ID and the name, like this. All right, so now we've got our blind syntax already, so we can use it in our view to basically check the conditionals. All right, so let's start off with this one right here. So I'm going to use, obviously, this one's in other parts of my application, but for now we can just leave, I'll basically keep it right there, but I'm going to use this one for this one right here. Right, so let's use our first one that's going to be add subscribed to product. Right, so the first parameter is basically the user, so that will be auth. Right, so the auth user. The next one will be basically the plan Stripe product ID. All right, so that's the other one, and the other one was basically the plan Stripe name. So plan Stripe. Okay, so and now we just need to do an else right here. Add else, and then we can just do an end right here at the end. So add end this part. Let's just paste it in there. Right, so let's do an else. So basically, if the user is subscribed to the product, we're going to just let them know with an H2 tag. Yeah, let's do an H2. And we can say you are currently subscribed to this plan. All right, I'm going to add some styling in here. So let me just give it some room so you guys can easily see what I've done. Subscribe to product. Hopefully everything this is spelled wrong. D and D. All right, just fix it here as well. Subscribe to product. So this must be exactly the same. So as you can see, that needs to be subscribed to product. Otherwise, we're going to get an error. Where this is coming from, let me just quickly open our user model. So user model, let's go up here to the billable, manage subscriptions, checking the status. Let's move a bit down. As you can see, subscribe to product. We're going to call on this method right here. Okay, so let's copy that and go right here just to make sure everything is the same. So that there is no unnecessary errors. Okay, so to make sure that this two are the same as well. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to check if the person is subscribed to the product. Now here, the product, basically what will happen is it will check the subscription and it will find the name. Okay, so in this case, if it's monthly, it will find that monthly name. Then in that subscription, it will check if it has a product. So basically, it will go to the subscription items. All right. And the subscription items, let me open up my migrations quickly. This database migrations. Let's go to the subscription item. Where is that? Right here. So in the subscription items, it will go and check for the Stripe product right here. And it will check for that product ID right here. Okay. So that's why I had to change my plans to kind of suit everything. Very nice. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So hopefully everything works. I'm just going to add some styling to this quickly. You can add it if you want to. All right, so basically this is what it looks like. As you can see, the button disappeared and we actually got this right here. You are currently subscribed to this plan. So obviously if I spelled correctly right there, it would have been better. All right, so that's it. Let me just show you the styling that I created. All right, so what I've done, padding top, padding of 2, margin top of 4, text white, rounded, background, theme blue, 300. Right, so the theme blue right here, this is created by ourselves, right? So that's it. Right, so at the other tab, let me just show you something. If you want to just check what this returns, okay, so let me just copy this quickly. You can add in here, just dump, and then just paste that in there. Let's do an H2 actually as well, and then just move that in there. Okay, so let's see what that returns. Right, I just need to modify it a bit. So this is our auth user, subscribe to product, and obviously put in those details right there. Okay, so let's check it out. So as you can see right here, we've got a true right there and we've got a false right there. So basically it just checks, it returns either a true or false statement. So true right there, false right there. Okay. So that's it, guys. So this is basically not the end of the things of Stripe, but I will finish up the invoices and all that kind of things for Stripe in the coming episodes. So wait for that. But the thing is, what I want to do, I need to build up the application. So now we can just check if the user subscribes. So we're going to use this quite a lot throughout the application. Right, so let's go to the dashboard quickly. Right, we need to build up the CRUD application in order to create a post, create tags, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, let the user be able to update their plans and things like that, so that we can build the billing, so that we can get the invoices and all that kind of stuff as well. All right, so for the coming episodes, we will focusing on the CRUD and actually working on the front end of the application as well, so that we can actually get this from the database and all that kind of stuff. So for the Stripe part for now is done, but in the final kind of phase of the episodes, we're going to check if the user can basically cancel their subscription. So right now we can just check it right here, but if the user wants to cancel their subscription, I want to build out that as well and all that kind of stuff. Right, so for the user to be able to actually add authors and all those kind of things, we're going to start doing going forward. So for Stripe part for now is done. I just want to repeat that. So for now, we're just going to focus on the CRUD going forward. Okay. Then after we finish all of this, then we're going to go back to the Stripe part of the application and do the invoices as soon as the user and check the different things. So if the user subscribed or their payment failed, we need to get notified of that. If they cancel their payment, we need to get notified of that. All that kind of stuff. But for now, we just treat it as if the payments were successful. All right. So that's it for me. If you like the video, please give it a like. And I'll see you in the next one. And thank you guys for watching, and give it a like. The likes kind of gives me an indication if people are interested in the videos and so on. So yes, thank you guys, and see you in the next one. Adios.